Hi, how are you? Am I audible? Am I audible this time?
Can you hear us?
Am I audible this time? Well, let me check again. Yeah, don't show it at all. Nothing. Yep. Yep, there we are.
Okay, yeah, all right, cool, good. All right, we're live again, and hopefully this time it is working. I'm not gonna put my helmet on this time.
No, we'll skip that.
We're already here. All right, we're back.
We're back in the cave.
Again, sorry about that, everyone. We hope everything is working fine now. Technical difficulties with OBS. So, Gabe, start us off, buddy.
What's up, cave dwellers? We're back in the cave.
We are back in the cave. We're doing a live video today from the cave. This is like a live actual episode, but we're here today with Jody Poole.
All right.
This is our uncle. He's one of the artists this season for Gabe's Cave. We're going to do a whole show based with him and then his Meet the Artist later on. So you'll actually kind of know him already, but then you'll get to meet the artist. But
Well, thanks for having me on. It's great to be in the cave, and hopefully we got the sound now that's going with it that we can actually hear what we're talking about.
For sure. We talked for 20 minutes a minute ago with no sound.
Yeah.
Gabe, start us off with the sponsor, buddy.
RPGhiring.com.
Wow. Why don't you say it a little louder in the mic?
RPGhiring.com. Building people, changing lives. If you're looking
Yes,
for a
there's-
new career, check them out at RPGhiring.com.
Why couldn't you say that the first time? Why are you going to make me say it twice?
It's got to be difficult, you know that.
Always difficult. My goodness. Before we get started, I want to say we are going to be at some more cons coming up. We're going to be at the PokeCon in Texas, March 12th through the 14th. In Frisco, Texas. The Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, April 9th through the 12th in Huntsville, Alabama, maybe? Huntsville, Alabama. There's a really tiny writing there.
Not to
Cowtown.
be, confused with Huntsville, Texas, because there actually is a Huntsville,
Yeah,
Texas.
right. I know, and we've been going to Texas
Yeah.
cons lately, and I was like, yeah. Cowtown Comic Con, June 19th through the 20th in Hurst, Texas. So that is it for the announcements for today. Now we shall go with the show. Gabe, what is the topic today?
Jody?
No, he's not the topic. What is the topic?
Predator.
Okay, all right. Boys always got to be difficult.
All right, yeah. So Predator, probably my favorite movie of all time. Just a great film, an iconic character, and so they wanted me to come on today not only to spotlight my my artwork that I do as a hobby, but also to kind of talk about it in my comics that that I've obtained over the years and the reasoning why. So
And just in general, we haven't done Predator yet as an episode, and Predator is one of the most iconic alien movies of all time. That and Aliens.
yes,
It's his favorite horror movie, I think.
Yeah, it's my favorite horror movie. It's
From the horror episode that he's never watched any horror movies.
right. I think it's Jody's favorite movie of all time.
I'd say it's probably my top movie. I mean, definitely like as franchises go, it's one of the top two.
Jurassic Park's better.
That's within
Jurassic
the top
Park's.
5. Is Jurassic
I think the
Park.
first Jurassic Park and the third Jurassic Park are my favorites. The second one was
Third?
kind of
I like the first two. I mean,
The
I like all of
first
them.
two are cool. I liked that they had the Spinosaurus in the third,
But it was definitely out of that trilogy.
but it
was
made
my
people
least.
mad.
Yeah.
the third one was.
Okay, so not to get back off topic. Okay, so Predator. Just to kind of give you like a grounding in it. Most of these comics were based. They were based off of the original movie that was John McTiernan's was done in '87, and of course starred Arnold Schwarzenegger and had a big group of guys. At the time, big name actors like Jesse Ventura, Carl Weathers, and even though it was actually, if you look at it from a perspective of a movie, like little cast. There's like maybe 10 people that was actually had names that showed up on the roster at the end, besides the extras they used. But it's one that stood the, for me especially, that's like stood the test of time. I think the original character, like the original Predator, creature, as in the original film, like costume wise, is still the best one that's been on film today.
For sure.
In any movie, even in the most latest series, that they've done. And it's just an iconic character. And the comics that are actually being featured here today is basically the first series that Dark Horse came out with. And where most people, they're growing up, they had Marvel and DC and things like that. Like, I was more drawn to creature films, like, spanning all the way back to, stop motion animation, things like that. Well, I've always been drawn to that more than I have superhero, which I do like superheroes, don't get me wrong. But like these comics, they came out with Dark Horse about 2 years after the original film, and like this series was in '89. And this particular one was the first series they put out. It actually takes place after the events of the first film, and so it follows Dutch, or Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, and what he's having to deal with, and fighting and dealing with these aliens that are coming to Earth to hunt us for sport. And anyway, Gabe, some kind of like movie trivia. Okay, so the original of the design we ended up getting for the Predator, it was actually not the original design that was supposed to be on film. A lot of people don't know that actually the one that we ended up getting and that's so iconic is actually the number 2. It came about due to them being in filming and actually testing out the costume and everything that they had in place, and it just did not work. It was horrible. It looked like a B-rate film, and this was supposed to be star actors in it, and it was just horrible. So actually they went back to the drawing board and redid it, which Stan Winston Studios was the one that actually created the creatures for Predator, which they're known for tons of big name movies back in the day that were like the top thing. If you had them working on your film, then you had a good film. So basically, Alien, Predator, Terminator, Jurassic Park, Pumpkinhead, all of them were, those just to name a few that they did. Now, the original actor, not Kevin Peter Hall, that starred as the Predator in the first 2 films, there was another big name actor that was supposed to play the original Predator. Now, do you know which actor that was?
No.
You don't? You got any guesses? He was a big action star back in the 80s. I mean, he's still kind of a big action star, but he was real big in the 80s and 90s.
He liked martial arts. And the first Predator was actually a insect bug thing that was supposed to do karate.
Yes. I mean, basically, they if people don't know, the original actor that was supposed to be cast, and they did cast him, was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
They cast him, and then they were like, "This is stupid," and they because.
And they wanted him for his gymnastics, like mobility, his martial arts, and they thought, yes, it was a very insectoid kind of creature, kind of had a long, slender neck. It wasn't like Alien, but it had big eyes, and it just, the concept art looked really good for it, but once they actually got the suit made and had it to see if it was functional or not, it actually did not work.
Are there pictures of it online?
Oh yeah, you can find pictures of it, and actually, if you have some of the Blu-rays and things like that, actually have the behind the scenes. They actually have video of him.
Really?
Yes, there's video of him running.
His big head just flopping
around.
around.
Where the actor's head was supposed to be at, like the creature's head was above it, and so when they did a test run in like the red suits and stuff that they would overlay the camouflage, of course. They had him running through the jungle, and the top of the head was just bouncing back and forth like that. And they're like, we got to go back and redo this. This is not going to be good.
That ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So they took it back to the drawing board. And another piece of trivia, Stan Winston was actually on a flight rendering up a design for the new Predator, and he had what he called his Rastafarian warrior, which had the dreads and everything, and he was trying to come up with a nice face for it. He was sitting next to somebody, and actually they looked over and they said, "You know what I thought would be really cool on a creature was something with mandibles, big mandibles." And do y'all know which director he was sitting next to on the plane that inspired actually the mandibles that open up when he takes his mask off?
Steven Spielberg.
No, but close. He's a big name director. Actually, James Cameron.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah, I did know that. I've heard that before. Yeah, I knew that.
Yes, James Cameron actually helped inspire that because a year before he had actually worked with him on Aliens, the sequel to Alien.
That's right.
So yeah, it's a pop culture icon. It's one of these things that it's stood the test of time, and everybody pretty much when they hear Predator, that's what they think of. They think of the movie, and that's what I kind of got into when I was younger. I always liked the original film, and of course him crossing over with Alien later on. Alien is another top franchise that I love, and just iconic characters, and just the whole design from him being an alien hunter from outer space. And I think when we get the good creature films where we as a human race feel small, I think that's where I kind of like, I get really drawn into that because we're the dominant species on the planet, but then yet all of a sudden now they're coming here just hunting us for sport, like we're just nothing. And so
Just for sport.
yeah, just for sport.
Yeah. Got a nice head there.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if I were to hang it on my wall.
Exactly. And so this makes us look tiny in the scope of things.
So we do have some comics here to show, and you have how many sets of these?
Oh,
They were in storage for years, and then we just recently
yeah.
pulled them
I
all
mean,
out and backed them. And
we were kind of redoing them last night actually, and yeah, a lot of them. I mean, I have, as far as like just Predator goes, I've got dozens of different. Dark Horse started out with this series right here, and it's snowballed since then. And so I mean, you have tons of crossovers from Judge Dredd, Terminator, Alien, all these things that he's actually crossed over with, and even to the DC with Superman and Batman.
okay,
I'm trying to think what it's called. There was one that I just thought was funny that Mom has.
Yeah.
speak up.
I can't think of what it's
Say it
called.
with your chest. They can't hear you. You're so quiet.
I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
But yeah, your mom,
Alfie?
my
Alfie?
sister, she actually was big into this too, and she actually is the reason I watched the first film. She actually had bought it and brought it home, and of course I was probably, when looking at it, I was probably too young to actually be watching this kind of show, but it was awesome.
For those that don't know, our mom loves that type of movie. She's
Yes.
not into the drama. She's into the Predator type of movies.
Yeah.
That's probably why we
Sci-fi.
are.
Yeah.
Sci-fi, yeah.
Yeah, but Dark Horse over the years they branched out and did tons of crossovers, and now recently, actually, I think with the Fox merger and everything like that, Marvel has actually obtained the rights to Alien and Predator. So now they're actually producing their own comic line, and
Oh,
now
so it's no longer Dark Horse. It's going to be Marvel Comics.
It's going to be in Marvel
Wow.
Comics now.
Okay, so
they're just already
You're
starting.
going to get a
already
universe
starting.
of
they're
Predators
already starting
versus-
making
Yes, I know. I think in March or something they're supposed to be dropping a bunch, and I think they've already been dropping some where, like, Alien is crossed over with against Spider-Man, against Guardians of the Galaxy, and things like that. And I know they showcased art where Predator's going to be crossed over, like holding like the spine of Iron Man.
wow.
So we're going to be getting a slew of crossovers probably in that vein. In that
Maybe we
genre.
can see Predator in the MCU.
Yeah, it very well could
Maybe
be.
Predator
They're
joins
all-
the Avengers.
They all in the same company now, I guess. So yeah, they could very well be crossed over.
What will Disney buy next? Is the real question.
What will the Disney Empire control? When will its reign end?
When will its reign end? Who shall buy them? Elon Musk, maybe.
Send them to
Who knows
space.
at this point. Yeah.
All right, so let's
Make the aliens watch Disney
So
movies.
this is the first issue here, this Predator, and I don't know if we've got a graded copy of that or not, but I do have. Actually, at the last Cowtown Comic Con, we met, and if you watch the live video, we met Sam De La Rosa, which did the first cover here, I believe, and I had him remark this, and I hope you can see it. I don't know if you can or not.
Yeah, it's a shame if you can't because it's.
I don't mind.
Drew a
pulling it
Predator
out.
helmet.
Hang on. I had him draw this one for me. This is he remarked this one, and it's gonna tear the tape. Whatever, it'll be all right. I'll retape it.
That's why I use painter's tape.
I don't mind. Hopefully you can see that now. He remarked it and drew a Predator helmet here, and signed it up here. He's got the blades with some blood hanging off there. Really, really cool. I don't know. Can you see that back there in the back? Oh, good. You can see it.
All right.
All right, and I also picked up.
Very cool.
I had him pick up, or I had him autograph the second. What's his second issue there? Maybe maybe the only 2 that he got to do before he moved on to other projects. Which is, we were kind of talking about it last night. It's like we're surprised that he didn't get big off of this because it's such a good cover, but he ended up getting big off of Venom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe other things, but I know Venom because
No,
Sam De La Rosa did the.
Yeah.
His Venom is the big Venom. So, what else you got over there?
Well, actually, I just brought a few of the other ones. Like I said, now this is not all specifically Predator. Now we have the Aliens series. This is actually parts of reprint from their original. This is actually what Dark Horse started with before Predator, technically, because the movies came out prior to that.
But can you really talk about Predator without going to Aliens?
It's hard not to nowadays. You got to cross over a little bit, and I think that's probably one of my favorite crossovers that actually makes sense and actually, I think, feel like it flows pretty well, is these 2 iconic creatures. Well, like the original Alien was done in the 70s. Well, now they did Aliens actually in 86 is when the movie came out. Well, Dark Horse picked up just like that 2 years later. They did in 88. They actually did their first comic line of Aliens. And so most all their comics are all aliens. It's not alien. And so, and of course, the same way they crossed over with tons of other, DC, Batman, Superman, like I said, with Predator and Judge Dredd and RoboCop and on stuff like that. There's tons of crossovers out there, I think, that they actually cross over with. But yeah, it falls in the same kind of universe. They've started, I think, around the second film for Predator, they kind of hinted at that and teased at that at the time because that was done in the 90s. Well, this is actually, they had already had the original films out, and then this comic line had come out, and so they actually started crossing over around that time anyway. So they thought it was a funny thing on the end of Predator 2. They're like, hey, we need to have a trophy showcase, a trophy room for these hunters. So, let's just start designing a lot of just alien skulls to put in there and different things. And so Fox at the time owned the rights for Predator and Alien, so they're like, you know what, we own the rights for them, so let's throw a xenomorph skull in there.
Yeah.
And fans went nuts after they saw that. They just went crazy about it, and like, wow, that's in the same universe. And so Dark Horse, I think, kind of went with that and was like, that's kind of a good idea. That's kind of a cool concept to have these 2 that are both extraterrestrial aliens out there in the universe. And why wouldn't they kind of come into contact with each other, especially,
and fight each other?
So that, of course, led to the first series of Alien versus Predator, and I'm not sure exact date. I think it was in the 90s, like maybe 93, maybe 92, something like that, is when they actually did their first crossover, and that's a very good series too. I wish they would have based the movies on that. I think they could have had a lot better reception with them if they would have actually went from the comics. But, of course, they didn't. But
do they ever?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Marvel does.
Marvel does. But, yeah, it would have been a very good concept. I mean, it would have been kind of a lengthy movie, or, maybe it had been doing a few-part show. But it was based more it's in the future instead of modern day. And it had a really good kind of a storyline that explained it out. And so if you haven't read it or anything, I recommend it. Pick it up.
And actually now, if you go to most I'm not going to say most comic shops. I've seen it in probably 5 comic shops. I've seen it in...
Are you talking about the Xenomorph head?
No. Most comic shops, I've seen it in Books A Million or Barnes & Noble. Yeah. It's a thick book that actually has like all of the Predator comics, all of the Alien comics, and then all of the Alien versus Predator comics. I mean, thick book, and it's literally they just all of them in there, and you can from start to finish read all of the comics.
Yeah, they just have it printed in one book nowadays. Or
just
you
one.
You can get it, and like Darren was saying, it's a thick book, and it's pretty much got all these in one and at your hands in one place.
And if you're looking for a good read, you can jump on it. I think it was like $40 for like a solid, thick.
You buy individual comics,
book.
It's going to be way more.
Right, and again, you don't really want to read the comics. That's more of a collector's thing than anything. But definitely worth buying if you're into Alien and you didn't even Alien and Predator and you didn't even know about it. Yeah, that's
So I mean, like I said, it's a good crossover, and then individually, if you're looking at the comic books and that realm, I mean, there's so many. There's good novelizations. I've read actually some of the Alien novels and Alien vs Predator novels that they've got out, and they've got great storylines, and it's just good reads and just good, good all around, I guess.
and good art too.
Yeah.
If you're just into the art like I am, you can just buy it and flip through the art. Have a good read and look at some good art because I mean, even like these here, like this one, that's such a cool cover there.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about all the. I haven't seen all of these, but
like this
that
last one, I think is probably one of my favorite ones on the last issue of that. Of just like I said, certain ones are drawn by certain specific artists, and not to know all of them off the top of my head, but yeah, some of them do amazing covers and just great artwork. On the covers and throughout them.
And how many of these are there in the series? Do you know, or is this just the first 5?
I think it's the first 5 in that series. I think it's got 0 through 4.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
yeah. And then on the other ones, I think they actually just have 4 for each one. So they started out with their original series. I think they had 1 through 4 for Alien and Predator, and then when they crossed over, I think the reason they may have had the 0 was to kind of like, okay, this is why we're bringing these two together. This is, hey, and they did do actually, Dark Horse did feature comics, which they would do feature comics periodically, and they'd have a comic book, and they had to showcase 3 or 4 upcoming comic series that would be coming out soon, which I have those too. But they would just showcase like, okay, we're introducing Predator comics, and they'd take off from there, and you could actually read a little blurb in there and show a little piece of that to get you intrigued to say, okay, when this comes out, I want to buy it. I want to get it to learn more about it. So
cool. Gabe, are you gonna read Predator comics?
I don't know.
Do you like Predator?
Yeah.
Do you like Aliens?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite Predator and favorite Alien movie out of the franchises? All that. Like, what was your favorite movie?
First Predator, I like.
Okay.
And then I don't know about Aliens.
First Predator, first Alien.
I would actually say first Predator, second Aliens. I like the first one. Don't get me wrong; it started it all. But actually, I just love the Aliens. I love the whole show. And
which one's the one where she like tosses the queen out of the ship?
That's the second one.
Oh, that's the second one. Then I like the second one best. Never. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The first one is where they actually find them, on the planet and
found the little girl, right?
No, that's the second one.
Oh, then the second one. Okay,
Yeah.
My bad. I like the second one the best.
The second one has the Space Marines and everything.
Yes, that's the second.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, second one.
The first one, if we're all, I mean, if you.
And then I like the Aliens versus Predators.
Okay.
Those are cool too.
I liked the Predators movie with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah,
I didn't like the Predator. That was terrible.
We're not even going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that film because, in my opinion, that shouldn't even have ever been made.
That was terrible.
It was very terrible. That's a biased opinion, but still, I'm very passionate about that kind of thing, and it was horrible.
The AVP movies were good. Requiem was good.
Yeah, on both of those, they both had pluses and minuses to them. Like, I felt that the first one had a good storyline, and the aliens were done actually fairly well in that one. The Predators, they looked very bulky and very big because of the way they made the costumes. They made the costumes where, like the original Predator, it was like a foam costume that he was in. Well, they had carved it and intricate and made the stuff where it's like it's all one piece. He just slid it on. He got in there, he slid it on, and then I think they probably put his gauntlets or whatever and his helmet on. But it was just trying to get him in and out of it and keep him cool in the jungle and things like that. Well, they designed the new suits where they had the bodysuit and then they could just put armor on. Well, the concept was good. Like, hey, we could just put armor on and change it up for each individual one, and it'll be more effective. Well, when you add a suit and then that adds more bulk to the actor that's underneath it, then you add all this other stuff. They look like football players running around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And these things are supposed to be jumping in trees and jumping around and being more athletic and being, in that fashion. And these guys look like they're linemen on a front line of a football team. They're going to take them out, which it had this good thing. I think on the second one, I liked the Predator design. They did better with him. They slimmed him down. They made him more athletic and made him more, you know, as far as like being a hunter and being a, efficient killer and things like that. He was better in that. They portrayed him a little better. Alien, they kind of they slacked on it a little bit. I thought on their designs, but overall they were decent shows, but they could have been way better.
Yeah,
I thought.
yeah.
But overall, great franchises, great things, and hopefully now that Disney has bought them, it's kind of a
Maybe
a
they'll.
worrisome thing because you think Disney, but actually they have factions at Disney in different studios that they said don't worry about these kind of films. They may be pushed out under another studio because to make it more R-rated and things like that. But they do have plans for a new Alien and Predator movies series.
They already have said that they do.
Yeah,
So that's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's good. I wouldn't worry anything about Disney buying it. If anything, it'll just have a bigger budget because Disney can just toss unlimited money.
and these things have stood the test of time. They're pulp culture. They know fans love them. They want more films and more things associated with them. They just need to start doing them justice. They need to stop. They need to give them bigger budgets, get good actors, get good directors.
Give us a hulked out xenomorph.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
fun.
actually, I mean, there's been two speculations about the new Predator they're going to come out with. One is that they're going to bring back Dutch and Adrian Brody, their characters and stuff, and maybe go along that route. And then I hear another one that there's going to be set back.
Dutch and Adrian Brody on there?
Yeah.
On like in one?
Yeah, like they're like bringing them back in, like the ones that have actually defeated a Predator or something. But then there's another like that I've heard and read about that they're trying to make it like it's set in the past and it revolves around I think a Native American tribe and they're looking at The Rock to get to star in it. So who knows? What route they'll end up going. Hopefully, whatever route they go, they do him justice. They make him menacing like he has been in the old films. And this, I guess, in my opinion, stop trying to overthink it. Stop trying to upgrade him and trying to make him.
Right.
There's that. The cool thing with the design, in my opinion, was it was more simplistic. There wasn't we're coming here for a specific reason. He's on safari. He's coming here, and hey, it's fun to come to Earth and hunt some people. They're
Western.
in,
Let's get a Western one out here.
So that's why they target war zones and things like that is to go hunt
Show where
during
you got
these
show where you
dangerous
got the
places.
pistol that gave the
Yeah.
in the second movie.
Yeah, let's see where you got the pistol he gave to
Yeah.
do in the second movie.
And so I've always, and there's actually going to the comics. There's actually a line of comics that's set during the Civil War or throughout history back in, I think even like Soviet Russia, things like that during these major conflicts.
That'd be cool.
And I always thought that was a kind of a cool design. Like imagine back in the Civil War.
What if Disney does a Predator series and puts it on Disney Plus?
As long as they
That
spend the
would be
budget, make
cool.
it good, it'd actually be pretty good.
And each episode is a different timeline.
I think
in
they may
history.
be doing that with Alien. They may be going more to a series than
Really?
they are than movies. I would
I'm
actually.
fine with that.
Do you think they're going to finish the Prometheus series?
I hope they do. I mean, it went in a different route than what I was hoping it would.
Aren't they supposed to make one more or two more?
Ridley Scott wants to make one more and make his original trilogy, and that was supposed to bridge the gap from Covenant till the first Alien. That's supposed to bridge the gap and kind of now we know a little more about them and
Where
stuff.
they came from and whatnot.
They went off a little bit different from what they originally started with. It's not in a bad direction. I actually enjoy Prometheus and Covenant. I thought they were done real well. But yeah, you just don't want to leave them hanging. Like I would think at least to finish it up and then go a different route if you want to go expand on that. Would be a better choice.
For sure. Do you have any other Predator stuff over there? Anything?
As far as the stuff that I had brought, just strictly Predator, no. I think that's about it.
Okay.
As far as I got like I said, over 100 something comics of it. I mean, we could spend all day here, like looking and showcasing all that. But
Well, I would say it's time to do a giveaway, but we don't have it up here to pull up live like this. We probably should have done that earlier, and we were trying to set everything up from the last show last weekend. We hadn't set it all back up yet. So we will have a live, the Tone Rodriguez cards we will do live, and we'll post it right after this video. So we'll have it posted up right after this video. So if you're watching now, make sure you check it out and watch after this. I should stop tapping my hands, and I've been told not to do that. Bam! So we'll post Tone's live giveaway right after this video. We'll have it all pulled up and everything. So yeah, make sure you this week right now, right? Sorry, the Twilight Zone is talking to us right now. I'm hearing voices. Make sure you comment on this video for this week's artist spotlight, which is Jody, and we'll be going over that next.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about back there? Okay, yeah, okay. All right. Well, since we have no intros or no graphics or anything, because we're all doing this live, I guess we're gonna jump right into meet the artist, and you've met him. It is Jody Poole. So now
let's meet his art.
Let's meet his art.
Talk about the art. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on. As far as being art, I know a lot of the guys y'all showcase and women that you showcase, they do it for a living, and I do it more just as a passion. It's more as just a hobby, But I've always been into art, I guess, over the years. I mean, I've still probably got things from when I was like 3 years old drawing, crayons and things like that. But I've always loved art, and then of course when the movies come out, I was big. I'm born in the '80s. I was big into the movies, and then this is why we're talking about all the stuff we've been talking about. That's kind of like where a lot of that originated and started from. So that's what I was kind of raised on, and so I loved all the aspects of how movies were made, and these creatures and monsters and dinosaurs growing up. That was like my top thing growing up, was dinosaurs and Godzilla. That was I'm still crazy about it. But
yeah, tell me what's better than dinosaurs.
Godzilla.
Much. Okay. Yeah, Godzilla. He's pretty top.
So before we go into the cards
just a
this
big
week,
dinosaur.
let's go over some other stuff that you actually do art-wise. So he's not just drawing or coloring or inking; it's the other stuff. So first off, where's my helmet at?
We did do an intro with a helmet earlier, but we just didn't have sound to it. But actually, the helmet that I was wearing, I actually painted this for Darren.
So this actual helmet here, he hand painted and airbrushed, and this piece fell off, and I've got it at the house, and I have not found the right screws to put back in it. So I have to put that on. This is I want to say it was a resin fiberglass mold that I got from a guy. His name is Wasted Fed, if anybody's out there looking. And I don't know if he's even still making them. When did we do this?
That was several years ago.
Probably like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah, been a long time ago. And he actually, we painted this up. I dremeled it all out and cleaned it up, and then Jody painted it.
Yeah.
Really good kit and really, really good paint job here. And this is one of the first helmet pieces, bigger pieces like this you've done?
Yeah. I mean, this was probably like the first one that I did that was actually like a helmet or a prop kind of a thing like that, as far as it like Darren said, as far as like my median goes and stuff, most of the things that I did and what I've done for the cards that we're going to be giving away this week is Prismacolor colored pencils. I got into that in high school. I was big into art, and my art teacher actually exposed me to the Prismacolors, and I've really fell in love with them and been using those over the years.
So whereas most of the artists on here now do like markers and what are the Copics? They do a lot of Copics. You do most of yours with either.
Yeah, Prismacolors mostly. Like I said, I mean, there's sometimes that I try to use mixed media, and then some on the cards here I did a little bit of acrylic paint on there along with them. But most of my drawings and stuff are usually just Prismacolor.
Right. But also
or black and white.
Good with a paintbrush on small details and an airbrush, but
yeah, and I've tried to over the years. I was never big into like paintings. I'm trying to get into painting more, and like with things like that, painting props. I feel that versus on a canvas, I've done a few canvas pictures and things over the years. Never have gotten into oils. It's kind of been my kryptonite because it just takes too long for me. I don't know. It's like I can work on a thing all week, like for a week on end, and a piece of artwork, but like when I come in and want to blend something and I can't blend it because it hasn't dried and I have to wait 2 or 3 days, I just kind of fall out of it. Yeah. So I just, for me, acrylics is a little bit better, for doing paints as far as what I enjoy doing.
Bust out the hairdryer, dry it off.
Yeah, it's those kind of options. Yeah.
Pull out the minifigs there that you recently been painting there.
Okay, so before we do that, these are.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see the showcase cards here in a little bit. What we're going to be giving away this week. As far as like what I enjoy drawing, it includes a lot of things. I mean, it depends on what I just find enjoyable at the time. I've went from drawing fantasy, science fiction, things like that, and what I did geared more the cards for here. But I also went through a big phase, and I still do it here and there, is actually wildlife, things like that I enjoy doing. So a few of these pieces, this is probably one of my better pieces that I've done.
I actually meant to grab it off the wall before we left earlier, and I was like trying to rush out of the house to get here. He did two Boba Fett's. I have two of his Boba Fett pieces. One is done with a pen. Well, just a ballpoint pen, right?
Yeah, it was just a pen.
And the other one is
the Prisma.
Prismas,
and
Prisma. The ballpoint pen one is crazy. I don't understand how you can do that with a pen.
And usually it's the funny thing is like the pens that I use, and it may be the same for other artists. They're like cheap pens, like the cheapo like big boxes of them. Yeah. Those cheap ones you can actually. I mean, I found that I can blend and shade a lot better than any kind of high dollar pen. Just the cheap ones you can get.
Yeah, no, it's wild. And I'll have to we'll post a picture up on our Instagram, just so you can see a good close up of the ballpoint Boba Fett, and make sure. And I should already be in the description below. If it's not, I'll fix it. His Instagram, you can hit him up, and you can. I don't know if you don't really take commissions at all.
Not usually, no. I've tried to in the past, and like I said, this is a hobby of mine. It's something I enjoy doing it, and I really like to be artistic about things. But I found in the past, like people will come up and I want you to draw this, and I'm like, well, I really don't want to draw that, and so it becomes more, I mean, it is more of a burden.
Jody, can you draw me a rattlesnake with a cowboy hat?
Yeah, things like that, and I actually like weirder things have been asked of, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. And so, and like I said, I just do it for enjoyment, and actually, that's why I kind of chose the field that I went into. Was I was actually going to look into being a medical illustrator back in the day, but like a couple of colleges around the U.S. that actually did it, and the job market wasn't great for them. And then somebody comes in and says, "I want you to draw me a kidney today," and maybe I don't want to draw a kidney today. I don't want to draw that. And so it's like I figured that might become a problem down the road, and I might get burnt out on it. So I thought, well, I should just keep this as a passion, just something fun and lighthearted that I can do. And like I said, I've tried to jump into different things, and I really enjoy painting models and doing this Prismacolor drawings, things like that, and even getting into the helmets. And I believe
so. What you're saying is, just if you're gonna ask them to paint something or draw something, don't be weird.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. I think it'd be better. I mean, like, I don't mind people like asking, like, hey, what would you like? What about this person or this character, or this thing? But I'd like freedom of choice and stuff, or like if stuff that I've done, and I usually try to post stuff that I've done and put on there. Like if you're interested in that, you may be like, hey, I like that you did.
Or if you like a random art piece, just be like, hey, yo, paint me something, draw me something.
Yeah.
Or maybe if he has something, he might just sell it to you if you just really like it.
Yeah, if you really like it, I mean, that's probably the best way he's going to get anything.
Yeah.
This is something that I already drew.
Right.
Like, I don't
but
want to partner with that.
His Instagram should already be down there. You can definitely check his Instagram out. Yeah. I think at this point you've pretty much dedicated Instagram to art.
Yeah, I think I changed it to Jody Poole Art. So it's
Facebook is definitely not. Facebook's just random.
Yeah,
reposts
Facebook,
of.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Facebook's probably not the best choice on that. I do have albums on my Facebook that are just designated to art, and I will post them on there once I do new art pieces and set it all up. But yeah.
But Instagram definitely is dedicated to art. So if you want to see his art and follow him on there, you definitely can.
Yeah, and like I said, it just varies depending on what I'm doing. I may be like this. I may be doing some kind of African antelope or crocodile or buffalo or something, like that over the, and the next thing I know, I might be drawing Darth Revan or Boba Fett or something like that on Star Wars or something. Or I really need to probably do an Alien and Predator drawing now. I haven't done one of those in a long time, so I probably need to try to do
those and maybe
those.
A Darth Scion.
Maybe
Darth Scion's cool.
Do a Predator with a lightsaber.
No, that would be a cool concept. Maybe a double one for his gauntlets.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Cool.
Or a staff lightsaber instead of a spear.
Yeah, instead of a spear.
Holding someone's helmet, just like.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. All right. Well.
All right. So yeah, this is just kind of like I said, some random stuff that I've done over the years and stuff that, like I said, just depends on what sparks my interest at the time. And not taking commissions, you're not like on a timetable.
Right. You could just do what you want,
pressured.
when you want, how you
kinda,
want.
Like some days I'm like, I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah, I'm not drawing a kidney today.
Okay. And so
He's also been for a long time, into
like model painting.
And
Here's one that
yeah,
Darren knows.
actually, he painted this for me for Christmas one year, and it is in my office. It sits in my showcase thing I got from IKEA. It's really cool. It's like a different take on a Mandalorian, his own kind of. And I've got 2 or 3 of these where there's its own take on a Mandalorian, and then I've got one Boba Fett.
Yeah. And so it all kind of started, Darren, you can get these models and things like that. And of course,
I want to say this is what, a Bandai?
Yeah, I think this was
a
Bandai
Bandai
that we did.
model.
And I mean, they're actually really intricate, and they're actually really cool models that you can do. But they come with generic paint. Just solid paint schemes, things like that. Well, I always liked, back in the day of painting models and things like that. I thought, well, we can do better. It's good, but you can do better.
Right. It could be better. It could be better.
So, he brought me some and said, hey, I got this, but I want you to paint it like, make it look worn, make it look like Boba did in the movie. I'm like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. And then, I decided to start to kind of go out and do different takes on it. And I mean, like this guy, he's got like I think that might have been maybe one of the troopers or something, like another stormtrooper or something's gun.
Yeah, his gun was from something else. And one of the other ones I have got like a Gundam gun or something like that.
Yeah, it was like some kind of a Gundam kit or something, like accessory kit. But I do like little dioramas and stuff like that. I've gotten into that a little bit for the model making to kind of go a little bit further and add a little scene. And I know several scenes.
With Derek and get him to do some like resin.
Oh, I've got plans.
He's gonna start doing resin too. He's an artist of many talents. It's not just I'm gonna stick to just paint or I'm just gonna stick to drawing. It's
anything but oil.
Yeah, anything but that oil paint.
But I don't like that oil paint very much.
But yeah, I know on Darren's, on several of his, I did little diorama scenes of him.
Wait, I'm gonna lay him down so maybe the upper camera here can
kind of get a better look at him. But yeah,
better look at him.
I've done things like that, like little scenes that are playing out. And I think on this particular one, like a death trooper is like supposed to be trying to follow him, and he's like on this rock. And
yeah, so I actually have a diorama for it. It does not fit in my display case, so I have it in a box until I can find a better display to put it in. I'm thinking about maybe one of the glass cabinets from IKEA, maybe at some point.
Yeah.
But this has actually got like where he's got like a death trooper is following him. He shoots one. There's 2 of them on there.
I think there's just one death
Just
trooper.
one who's like shot him.
He's supposedly like following him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another one that we did.
It's real westerny feeling. It's got like this.
Yeah.
This
That's how
western.
it should be.
Yeah. Right.
It should be gunslingers.
Goes right along.
Right.
With
Actually,
Mandalorian.
is this camera right here on, Dad? It is. I'm gonna stand up and show you in detail so you can actually see it a little bit better. Let's see if I can get good enough lighting here. I don't know if I can or not. I don't think it's gonna do it because of the lighting. Still focused on Gabe's head. I can see the square literally following Gabe around, but not gonna do very well. But
Not in my.
I wish it would. We'll post some pictures up or something. This top one up here. Let's see if this one works better.
Got a better look at it.
Is that better? Hang on. See his backpack.
And his
Such a cool
MG.
little model on.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's a. I'm trying to think of what that blaster is. On his back, it's not the D-17, but it's the.
So what else you got over there?
It's the Imperial version of it.
And getting into like the little model things, I know a lot of maybe some of the subscribers and watchers and everything, they may be into the tabletop gaming, and that was another thing that I had gotten into like when I was younger was Warhammer. tabletop games that you actually paint models and have little wars and things like that. Well,
but be honest with them,
yeah.
not because of the game itself, but because of
my friends back in the day. We all started this up, and then we all chose different armies, and it was a cool thing. Well, they would get it just to play the game. Me, it was more painting the models.
Right,
And I thought, well, this is a cool thing to do. They got cool little figures. I could paint those. And so I delved in more into that. And, yeah, of course, had my whole army painted up at the time and things like that. And I've actually recently got back into that. And we may be later on, hopefully, showcasing maybe a live thing later on. I don't even know when. But over that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So these are some of the little figures that I've actually done recently for that. And like I said,
as he sits these out here, I know they're small from this view here and maybe the view up here, and you can't really see them. But when he sat these out yesterday, I promise you, I thought he pulled these out of a pack from Walmart, like a toy pack. Let me lay them down here
so you can see them.
Yeah. I know it won't. You're not going to be able to tell, and I'll hold it up to the camera up in a minute. But the blending is, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna do it. Fantastic.
And the thing is, though, like, I mean, I'm just trying to get back in the scope of this. I haven't done this in probably, for years. I mean, besides the stuff for Darren and things like that. But a lot of these models, these are actually some of the bigger ones. They can get very tiny according to what you're wanting to actually paint. And so I'm kind of getting back in a groove of doing that. But yeah, like I was telling them last night, there's the guys that get like hardcore into this, and they have studios that actually paint these guys for these tabletop games. And you kind of, a lot of them will do like, we base it on levels, what you want. You pay per level. And like levels 1 through 5, These, I don't even know if these would be like considered level 3s. I've seen level 5s that you just sit there and shake your head like, I don't even know how they did that. I don't know how they did that. It just leaves you baffled and how great these artists are out there and stuff like that. But like I said, I do this as actually as a fun thing, and hopefully we can showcase later on. I'm planning on doing 2 armies actually in a big diorama of it, a big table with scenery.
I think later on we may have, whenever you finish with it all up and you've got them both laid out there, even if it's too heavy, we may have to come to your house.
Oh yeah,
and show lights and cameras and everything, and show how neat it all is because it's.
And like I said, this is just one thing. They've got numerous games you can play, whether you want futuristic, you want fantasy. There's dozens of armies to choose from if you want to go back to the old school stuff and the new versions. But a lot of them, they I think even Dungeons and Dragons now used to be just the dice game and things like that. Now they actually have their whole.
They do have their figures now, just like this. If you wanted to. D&D and they have buildings and everything.
Oh yeah, and you get these guys that are hardcore into these gamings. They used to have tournaments, like big tournaments set up for them, and you go in there and everybody would bring their own display boards and stuff, and their battle boards and things. And yeah, talk about some crazy, amazing work. Like even on these boards, they'll take like foam and stuff you get at Home Depot, and they'll turn it into temples and cities. I was watching one that they have a Lord of the Rings tabletop, and it goes into all the lore and stuff of Middle Earth, and they got Star Wars. But there's a guy, they were building of course I'm gonna blank on that now, the main city at the end of Lord of the Rings. The huge white stone city.
Someone's gonna say some bad things about us in the
I know. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Can't let Henry Cavill down.
But the main one that they did the final stand, men against orcs and stuff. They're actually during this pandemic.
Gondor. What? Gondor, right?
Is it Gondor?
Is it?
No, not Gondor.
No, not Gondor.
Is Minas Tirith. Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
Is the big city.
Okay.
Yeah, they.
I had that city in Legos. I had the Lego version of that.
Minas Tirith. Yeah.
Somebody
massive city. If you actually look at the design of it.
It's like the whole mountain side of it.
Yeah, it's pretty much built into a mountain. Well. During this pandemic last year, these modelers, like these big name modelers, and that do all these crazy terrains, they got together and they said, okay, let's build a Minas Tirith that actually our figures could be in. And so they delved it out between like 10 or 20 guys, and they like built sections. And this one guy was doing his tutorial on how he was building sections of the wall, the perimeter wall at the bottom.
Where do they put this giant city?
I don't know. I'm
Like
sure
a warehouse.
I'm sure they're going to display it
Is it
somewhere.
like is it the Lord of the Rings tabletop game?
Yeah, they
So it's like
yeah. It was to scale basically with their minis.
like Lord of the Rings tabletop warehouse.
It's crazy, and I mean, his sections were this big and this tall, and that was the bottom tier of the castle. And other guys were doing the upper tier and doing this and that, and they were going to piece it all together. I haven't seen what it looked like pieced together. It may not even be done yet, but they were doing that during the lockdown, during the pandemic. They were just trying to do something productive.
Who gets to roll the dice and fling the dude off the top?
Oh, I don't know. But it's like, yeah. But I mean, this is, like I said, I think this is coming back a little bit more. People are enjoying these tabletop games and stuff. And like I said, I do most of it for just the artistic thing. And I've kind of got a design of what I want my specific two armies that are going to be going against each other like to be. And I'm going to, like Darren said, do some resin work and custom figures and things like that to try to make a really cool diorama just for fun, just to test my skills.
While
and
you're
stuff.
still talking there, I am going to show these off up top up here. You're so lightweight.
Yeah. He did try to get me in. He did try to get me into it.
I'm still working on you. Working on it.
He is, and I don't think I'm going to get into it, but
well, it's one of those things. Like I said, I just do it mainly just for the painting but then the game's secondary to me. But saying that, a lot of people's like, no,
I do it to admire the models after they're painted.
Yeah,
this one is crazy.
I like.
Can you see him?
They didn't really have an army that fit the.
You can. His headpiece is crazy good. Just drops him.
Please don't. I do that enough.
Don't drop him, please.
But yeah, and there's so many things nowadays. Like I said, what I got started on was Warhammer brand, and it was like that's the one that Darren's holding actually now, and this other one that's actually specific Games Workshop Warhammer brand miniatures and for their games and stuff. But actually, there's a lot of proxies out there nowadays with all the 3D printing. Actually, these other three are actually all 3D printed, and they actually depends on if you're wanting to pay official games or not. Official games, they may not be able to more likely cross over because they're not trademarked brand.
But they're cooler.
But yeah, a lot of them. I mean, there's some of them. This is actually Lost Kingdom. That's these other three guys over here, and they've got some crazy cool models. I mean, they're models even if you enjoy that kind of things, like with Gabe in here displaying a lot of the stuff that he likes to do. Like if you're like that and want to display those and just paint them up just to have a cool figure, they have some crazy cool models, all different from everything you can imagine. From, like I said, most of them's based in fantasy, like with your orcs and your goblins and your elves and humans and knights and lizard people and whatever you want. Like I said, you can pretty much find models nowadays for anything from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings to everything you want to. They got even Mandalorian stuff out now with all that. So that's just a little bit of what I kind of do just as a hobby and just to keep my skills up and build my skills actually and try to test myself and do better. And even with painting these, from the first ones I started painting up until the most recent ones, it's gotten, in my opinion, better.
Oh, for sure, better. Yeah.
And so I've still got tons to paint up. So hopefully by the time I'm done, I can display more that are at these higher level of paint jobs and things like that, and learn new techniques.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We've been here for a long time.
All right, let's get all this stuff out of the way.
Let's showcase some cards, and we will let everybody see them and get out of here.
Tired of sitting back there?
It's Saturday, man. People got things to do. They got to prepare for the football game tomorrow.
Yep.
Sports ball, man. I don't even know who's playing in the sports ball tournament. Sports. I'll let you put these out here, and you can kind of go over them as you go.
Okay.
Am I putting them out?
Yeah, set them out there.
Okay, cool.
All right, so pretty much all these cards are Prisma with acrylic backgrounds.
A Jawa. Have ourselves a Boba Fett. It's a really, really cool Boba Fett from the side.
Of course, like our topic today.
Pin. This is the pin. This is ballpoint pen, right? Predator.
which
Yeah,
is
that one was
insane.
pretty much, and even like the bluish tint is like where I'd kind of tried to blend it, and so basically all that's just pen art. Cobra from G.I. Joe. And all these, I've taken inspiration of things that I loved growing up. This is just the stuff that I was kind of brought up on.
One of the best TV shows ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely one of the best cartoons and everything.
Nedry.
Nedry with the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park. Just all these are things that I'm passionate about, like pop culture that I love. So Star Wars, Predator, down to Marvel. Deadpool was probably my favorite superhero. Anti-hero.
I like
Deathstroke.
Slade.
Yep.
I like Deathstroke more than I like.
And did y'all know the thing behind those two? Why they're so similar?
Because Marvel literally copied.
They literally
Deathstroke.
stole it. Yeah.
Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson. They copied him and made him a joke to make fun of Deathstroke.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's like that.
Yep. They actually.
Godzilla. I don't know the name of that one.
Old Greg. I'm Old Greg.
That's kind of, as I say, it was a running joke like with Darren and everything. Is Old Greg.
Old Greg.
A lot of people probably don't know, but if you don't, look up Old Greg, and
Hey.
you'll either be annoyed by it or you're gonna laugh. It's gonna be real funny.
Scaly
We
manfish.
got a Skeletor.
A really,
Skeletor
really
from-
dark Skeletor.
From
Trent-
Masters of the
Trent, you
Universe.
would like that one.
Yeah.
Of course, the
Xenomorph.
Xenomorph had to be in there.
We got Godzilla.
Another Godzilla one.
King Ghidorah. Broly.
Off of Dragon Ball Z.
We're out of space here.
We got Spawn. And y'all can't have that one. It's mine now.
A reptile.
And a reptile off of Mortal Kombat.
Why
I
reptile
want-
versus the other ones?
That was my favorite growing up. Like I said, one of those things that I love dinosaurs, love, monster things like that. And I don't know, he was my favorite character over the years. I like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They're iconic ones, but everybody draws them.
Reptile.
But all my friends joke about, like, back in the day,
Slime Ball.
that was my character when I got on there, was Reptile. So, yeah.
Yeah, Drupal says
Yeah. Marty, he'd take that cheap way around and do that, low kick and that roundhouse
Scorpion,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kick him in the yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing back in the day with
he's
Marty.
cheesing the game. Okay. All right.
Cheesy boy.
Well, we've been here for a long time today, so hopefully you've stuck around. Hopefully you've liked the episode, liked us ramble on about Predator and Alien and art and everything else, and make sure that you comment on the video to get one of these awesome cards, because if you don't, I'm going to take them all home with me. And
Drop
that
a comment.
would be
Tell us
terrible.
Tell us who you think will win, Godzilla or King Kong.
Yes. I know I'm
Will
voting
win?
for Godzilla, because there's no way a monkey can
yeah.
beat a giant lizard man.
Godzilla
The
all the way.
thermonuclear power plant lizard.
Yeah,
Yes.
he literally they dropped a nuke on him, and
Yeah.
King Kong got his hand cut up by a helicopter blade. I'm just saying, that's it.
Godzilla all the way. But also, like,
Hey, I
since
mean, he
it's-
got captured by Jack Black. Okay.
He did.
And he died from planes. And I mean, he may have bit some of the V-Rexes, but
It's not Godzilla, though.
no, it's not.
It's not.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, also because of today's episode, if you want to drop a comment about who would actually win between Alien and Predator,
Yeah, for
That's-
sure.
that's a
Who
good-
would
that's a
win,
good show
Alien
out.
or Predator? That is a good one. Yeah.
I'm going to stick with Predator
I am
probably
too.
on that one.
I am too.
But
Well, stab me in my ribs. Hopefully you liked today's video.
nuggets for you.
Thank you for sticking around with us.
all right, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, guys.
Gabe, send us off, buddy.
Bye.
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 Bye.